What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Nice Catch Podcast. We are here to catch you up on all the latest football news and analysis. I'm Baden.
And I'm Hank. Today, we'll be recapping the Super Bowl, talking about all 7 new head coaching hires, and just covering some of the other headlines around all of football today. Some maybe draft stuff, some trade rumors, combine stuff, all of the above. We have finished the season. We are in the offseason.
Oh, yeah.
But the first thing we need to do is give a congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Even as a Cowboys fan, I can say that because
credit where credit is due.
Credit where credit's due, and they earned it. But yeah, let's just kick off this episode 19, by talking about just that game. So, Baden, what are some of your first thoughts? It was a little bit ago.
It was a little. I'll take the hit on that one. It would have come out. Probably would have done this episode a little earlier, but dealing with some sickness last week, so it's a little postponed, a little removed.
I was busy too, so not
but
all on you.
It's given us even more time to think about the game, the big game, and everything surrounding us. It's let some other headlines and news come forth that we've been able to analyze and bring you this episode. So it's not. It's a net positive, but I will say, watching the game, it did not go how I was expecting. I was really torn. I did not think one way or another. I did not think, this one team has a huge advantage. I imagined that just with the storylines coming up for both of them, the rematch and the revenge arc for the Eagles and the three-peat for the Chiefs, I imagined that both teams would come in with so much fight, so much drive, and I thought it'd be a really good game, just like their previous game was. I mean, that game came down to the wire, and so I was just expecting an amazing battle, and that's not necessarily what we saw.
No?
Really, not at all. It was a surprising game. The Eagles came out and put up 24-0 at halftime, 24-0, and then they didn't stop there because that was what they did wrong last time they were in the Super Bowl. They got a lead, and then they couldn't hold it. They didn't close. This one, they got their lead, and they came out of halftime, and they fought just as hard as they did before halftime. And I think that was the game changer. And I'll say for the Chiefs, we saw a regular season Chiefs that did not look like they could win a Super Bowl. Then we saw a playoff Chiefs that turned it around. They really turned it around, and it looked like, yes, this team can win a three-peat. And then they got to the Super Bowl, and they looked like the regular season Chiefs, in my opinion. That's what I saw. I saw the Chiefs that they couldn't figure it out. Mahomes and Kelsey, that connection wasn't working, and that's a big thing in the playoffs for the Chiefs is Mahomes and Kelsey. That wasn't working. Their defense, especially their run defense, played so well. Saquon Barkley did not have a big game. He won a Super Bowl, so that's a big game. But stats-wise, I mean, they held him short. He didn't have a rushing touchdown. But their offense was given opportunities, and they just couldn't connect. They didn't look good. They looked like the regular season Chiefs. They couldn't bring it together. And so I think that's really what it was. The Eagles came out, and they played 100% the whole game, even when they had a lead. We saw some, the defense giving up some garbage time touchdowns. But they came out, and they played the whole game. And the Chiefs, they just didn't look like they did in the playoffs. That's probably my overall analyzation of that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm with you
Analysis, not analyzation. Analysis.
Oh, that's a good point. Hey, I like it.
Coming up with some new words. What you got, Hank?
Yeah, I'm with you there. There wasn't like a I think this team has a huge advantage. I think this team has a huge advantage. Beforehand, I would have picked the Chiefs. I don't know how we forgot to make our actual picks last time. You just texted me afterwards, and we're like, We
It was
forgot.
it was like that
pick the
night, maybe
game.
the next morning. We were like, oh, we did not pick a team.
Yeah. Hey, but I'm saying I would have been wrong, and this is because I thought the Chiefs would win it because of their run defense.
Mm-hmm.
We had seen them shut down the run, and the Eagles' dominance this season has much of it is hinged on Saquon.
Yeah.
And their run defense was good, as you said. Saquon had 25 carries for 57 yards. That's like a 2.3 average, which for Saquon, for any back, that's not good. But this is Saquon. Receiving 6 receptions, 40 yards. So a little bit more usage there. But that's not even 100 all-purpose yards in the Super Bowl. But the story of the game is the Eagles' pass rush. They almost never blitzed, but still almost always got pressure.
Yeah.
That was a super surprising thing for me, and especially because that was the storyline of this other Super Bowl that Mahomes lost.
Mm-hmm.
He was always on the run, never had time to throw. I think it later came out that he was on a hurt toe or hurt his toe during that game. And so it just reminds me of the last time they lost, because either Mahomes wins a comeback Super Bowl or he gets blown out in a Super Bowl.
I didn't really think about that until you said that.
Yep, the one under the other. I thought after they were up, even though it was 24-0, the Chiefs are going to make it close.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't make it close. There was garbage time, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier Worthy caught that cool touchdown. He caught 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
But it was domination. It was not, as a game, it wasn't all that entertaining to watch. There were great plays. That's about where it goes. There were great plays. It's fun to get some change. I didn't really care who won. But it's just Saquon gets a ring. Jalen Hurts gets a ring. A.J. Brown gets a ring. Their offensive line gets a ring.
Yeah.
That is just, their offensive line deserves a ring, and offensive player of the year alongside Saquon.
Oh, absolutely. And that was, I think that was on the offensive side, that was a game changer. Because that's something leading up to the Super Bowl where almost every article, every talk show host, everybody was saying was, for the Eagles, it's going to depend on Jalen Hurts. If he can, we know Saquon's going to be good, but if Jalen Hurts can control the turnovers, if he can control this, if he can stop this, it was not encouraging. It was almost talking negatively, Jalen Hurts has to step it up, or they're not going to be able to beat the Chiefs. And Jalen Hurts and the passing team, that was what won it on the offensive side.
Yeah.
And he did, everything that was said. He came out there and he played amazing, and that's exactly what they needed.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's part of why I called the Chiefs at first, is because I've never been able to call Jalen Hurts a superstar, and that may be a hot take. It kind of is a hot take.
But there's inconsistency.
Yeah, inconsistency is the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
He obviously you have the superstars. You have Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, Joe Burrow. Maybe throw a few others in there. But Jalen Hurts has never been in that tier for me. He had that one almost MVP season that he deserved to get second in. Mahomes losing Tyreek Hill and still putting up those numbers and those wins. He did deserve to get it. But he's continuing to grow as a decision maker and just as an overall quarterback. We saw the interception that was just ugly. He was under pressure, but still, you don't...
It was a punt.
Yeah, exactly. It was
but it was on 3rd down instead of 4th.
Yeah, exactly. And in the red zone, just stuff like that is what makes me not be able to call Jalen Hurts a superstar. He cut down on the turnovers this season, but I think he's continuing to improve. Which a lot of time, you see superstars like Joe Burrow or Josh Allen is one who has improved. But Joe Burrow, Lamar, Mahomes, those are guys that. Even Mahomes has hit some, hard spots in growth. But a lot of these guys, they, hit their prime super early, and they're just in it. And so guys like Jalen Hurts, where he's not all that great at first and then grows up. Or not necessarily grows up, but grows just as a quarterback.
Continues to get stronger, to learn the game.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, some stats with their defense, because as we said, Jalen Hurts was a huge reason why they won. But I'm tempted to put their defense at number one. Maybe Jalen Hurts deserves MVP.
I thought that Sweat was going to get Super Bowl MVP.
Okay,
really? That was my after the game ended. That was my pick. I thought it was going to be someone on the defensive line, but I said Sweat. But
yeah,
I definitely thought it was going to be a defensive guy.
Yeah, I mean their whole defensive line was really good. I mean, Sweat had 2 TFLs, and yeah, I mean you've seen the memes with the new Georgia recruiting poster just dropped, and it's their 3 defensive linemen from Georgia rushing the passer in the Super Bowl. But yeah, their defense as a whole shut down the Chiefs. The Chiefs had 49 total rushing yards. 25 of those were by Mahomes. And of course, it's Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, which is neither of them are anywhere near Saquon. But still, I mean, even Samaje Perine had more yards than Isaiah Pacheco on 1 carry. Yeah. And Pacheco had 3 carries. But
the Eagles had more. I don't know if this is accurate, but this is a stat that I saw, is that the Eagles had more points in the first half than that the Chiefs had offensive yards.
I think I would not be surprised. I don't know how to look at just first half stats on NFL.com, but that would not surprise me. But two picks, both just looking at the players they got the picks. Zach Bond, Defensive Player of the Year finalist, but had not been a starter before the season. And the Defensive Rookie of the Year finalist, obviously a rookie, Cooper DeJean. Getting 2 picks on Mahomes in the Super Bowl, especially the Cooper DeJean pick. That's one what we're going to be watching for a long time.
Oh,
that was the one that's like, this is it. Like the Eagles are going to win a Super Bowl.
Imagine being a rookie and picking off not just any quarterback in the Super Bowl, but Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and then taking it to the house.
All the way back.
Oh my goodness. The feeling, just that I can't even imagine what he was feeling in that moment.
Yeah. I mean, that one is what put the Chiefs up. I don't know where to look at the actual score right here. Was it in the second quarter?
It was in the second.
It was in the second quarter. And so, yeah, that's the one that really just showed us, like, the Eagles are going to win this game.
Yeah.
But just also the fact they did not allow a touchdown until the third quarter, when the game's basically over at that point. Obviously, you don't give up, but like you can afford it.
And not like coming out of the half to start making a comeback, like late in the third quarter.
Yeah, definitely. That was their defense just put on an insane effort, and especially the fact that the Eagles are able to win a Super Bowl, like relatively recently after losing both of their coordinators. I mean, there's Jonathan Gannon with the Cardinals, and then Shane Steichen with the Colts. Both of those guys were with them the last time they won when they made it to a Super Bowl. They both leave, and then relatively quickly after they get back.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore obviously is gone now. We'll talk about that more in a minute, but just the fact that they're able to find 2 new guys that quickly and just make it right back to the top. I feel like we don't see that all of the time.
Oh, yeah. And after a really difficult season, last season, starting out 10-0, 10-1, and then just plummeting, or 12-1? No, 10. I think it was 10-0, and then just losing out, basically.
Yeah.
And all the controversy around that, and in the locker room and everything. I mean, we've said this 2 or 3 times. I think once the Eagles really started to look good, probably last episode, is we talked about how we were not positive on the Eagles coming into the season. They didn't look good. Just all the problems that they'd had, it looked negative. But they turned it around. They focused up. They locked in.
Yeah, definitely. That was Yeah, I'd forgotten about that because, I mean, we're used to seeing these Eagles now. But the fact that, yeah, they really just fell off at the end of last season.
No, absolutely.
And that was what we were talking about, like, oh, they lost both their coordinators, and Jalen Hurts isn't the guy. Nick Sirianni isn't the guy. But, yeah, I mean, we were wrong. They won the Super Bowl.
See that? What was it? It was funny. Just you mentioned Nick Sirianni. I think Nick Sirianni only had one loss since he shaved his head.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I think only one loss since shaving his head. It's like that was, and they had lost like 2 or 3 games, and then he shaved his head, and that was the trick.
Mm-hmm.
That was all they needed.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it works.
I'm gonna have to do that before outdoor season starts.
Yes, before you run, you gotta buzz it.
Gotta buzz it, see what happens. More aerodynamic.
There you go. And even though he was on the losing side, we talked about him last game. DeAndre Hopkins, he didn't get a ring, but I am glad that he got a touchdown.
Yes, touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Seeing him to get that touchdown, obviously it's like the game's over by then. But the fact that DeAndre Hopkins got a Super Bowl touchdown, and he's not done.
He's not done.
He's got time to get a ring, but if the Chiefs don't re-sign him, I don't know. Maybe some contender will look for him. He could be like an Odell type where there's just a team looking for him and needs a guy like him. But go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, he didn't get the ring. I think he deserves one. But the touchdown, I think that scoring a touchdown in the Super Bowl, that's big.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I was actually thinking about DeAndre Hopkins. This is a little bit of a rabbit trail, but earlier today, I don't know if that's kind of weird to say. I was just thinking about this episode, what we would talk about, and I was thinking about D-Hop and not getting a ring, and then just the last 4 or 5 seasons have been pretty rocky for him, I would say. I'm hoping that he can this was a good year to finish out on, but he can have 1 or 2 years to just make sure everybody remembers that D-Hop he's a top receiver. Maybe not anymore, but he was, because a lot of times we remember players from when they thought they could keep going, like Aaron Rodgers with the Jets, and we're like, oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers. But you forget he was probably one of the best quarterbacks of all time on the Packers. But they get to that point where they're like, oh, I can keep going, and then you just remember those last few years. And probably one of the only quarterbacks that hasn't had a rough last few years was Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He closed like he started.
Yeah.
But, we got to remember, DeAndre Hopkins, Aaron Rodgers, who there's probably maybe a headline we'll touch on there. Like, these are some of the best players in their respective positions. But, you just don't. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
That you kind of base how you view those players off of, the last little stretch of their careers, when maybe they should have stopped a little earlier, but just hey, can't forget what they did in their prime.
Yeah, and also you never know when they're done, because you look at Russell Wilson with the Broncos and it's like, oh, this guy needs to retire, and then obviously it's like he didn't win a Super Bowl with the Steelers, but he carried them to the playoffs.
Yeah.
He had helped them have a really good season.
It was a much better Russell Wilson than we saw the year before.
Yes, definitely. I never gave up on Russell Wilson, but because of that, I'm not giving up on Aaron Rodgers yet. I think if he finds a good home, he may not be who he once was, but I think if he finds a good home, then he can at least have some of what you were talking about. His old days were, not the 0 picks and 500 touchdown season, but just kidding. It wasn't quite that many, but that's what it feels like watching Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. And I think players just have that. I mean, if you take, sometimes you just need a change. You see Tom Brady's last season with the Patriots compared to his first season with the Buccaneers. I mean, his last season with the Patriots, he wasn't awful, but he didn't look like the Tom Brady that everybody remembered. And then he gets a little change of scenery, goes to the Bucs, wins the Super Bowl. Sometimes you just need to find the right fit, change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe Aaron Rodgers will find that.
Definitely.
Clearly, it wasn't the Jets, but I don't know that
Yeah.
everybody finds a good fit at the Jets.
That's a good point.
Anybody. I don't know that anybody finds a good fit in the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Geno Smith, Sam Darnold now, maybe Zach Wilson. Who knows?
Who knows? You never know.
You never know.
And you get Danny Dimes on the Jets.
There you go. Exactly. Because then it's a double negative.
Exactly. So net positive. We'll have to
exactly. Two less make it right.
I think we need to.
Or wait.
I fair enough. We'll say two less make it right.
That's not the phrase.
Two wrongs make it right.
But that yeah. That idea.
Two rights make a left.
That kind of idea.
Wait, left. So if you went that way,
but really it's
and then you went left again, then it'd be two lefts make it down, because you're just going
well,
two lefts make it backwards.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Anyway,
if you cut any of this, I'm walking.
Yeah, I'm not cutting that. This is what the people want. But the Eagles look like a powerhouse.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think let's look at the NFC East. Let's think back to a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talking about Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He had to make it through Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke's first game as, it wasn't the starter. Just coming in and like, oh, this guy, I kind of like this guy. I don't like the Commanders, or it was the Washington football team at the time. But diving to the pylon, that's another highlight play that even though it's a Cowboys rival, I love that play.
Oh, yeah.
But Eagles look like a powerhouse. Washington, I mean, they're up and coming.
Absolutely.
I was confident in the Texans before this season. I'm way more confident in Washington. New regime, ownership, it just makes me wonder if all these teams that have been bottom of the barrel, like the Browns, the Cowboys, even the Raiders recently. I'm not complaining about any ownership necessarily for the Browns and the Raiders, but
you left one off that list that you said.
Wait, what? I did.
Okay.
But yeah, I wonder what would happen if these bottom of the barrel teams got new ownership.
Yeah.
The Giants, obviously not this season, but they're working towards a rebuild. Mm-hmm. They'll have a high pick this season, probably next season again. They'll find a quarterback, or at least try to find a quarterback somewhere in there. We'll see what happens in Dallas, but at least two of those four are going to be top of the NFC teams for the next little bit. Yeah. Another one has a chance, and if I don't know, maybe Brian Schottenheimer will turn out, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. One guy that I want to make sure gets enough love on the Eagles. We talked about the D-line. We talked about Jalen Hurts. Everyone talks about Saquon. I want to talk about Jake Elliott. He has been there with the Eagles through a lot. Been there a while. He made 4 field goals, not short field goals, and in pretty important times too.
Yes.
You look at, you had a field goal that helped them go up 10-0, 13-0. Something like that. Anyway, but yeah, these field goals were in pinnacle times. If he misses one of these early field goals, then that can totally have shifted momentum. Mm-hmm. But he made longer field goals that helped secure the momentum early, especially after those penalties. I was about to say, in difficult situations with making the field goal and then having to go back out there and kick it again from farther. That little adjustment, that was crazy that happened 2 times, 3 times. Yeah. That was. It adds a lot. There's a lot of outside pressures that are put on the kicker in these high intensity situations, and then you bank that kick, and then there's a penalty, and you got to go out there and do that again. Mm-hmm. It's it was very impressive. Mm-hmm. Definitely, I like that you pointed that out. I wasn't thinking about that, but got to give respect to the kicker. Mm-hmm. Definitely. But on the other side, we talked about how the Eagles look like a powerhouse. The Chiefs, you have Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. Someone at church tonight asked me, you think the Chiefs will trade Pat Mahomes? 1, it's Patrick Mahomes. Pat Mahomes is his dad. 2, what? 1 bad game, even though it happens to be the Super Bowl, you don't trade a guy who's already... he's not the greatest of all time yet. By the time it's all said and done, he, at this rate, will arguably be the greatest player of all time. I don't think so. I think Tom Brady still holds it, but anyway, he's probably the only person that could contend for that within a few years. Yeah, Yeah. But, like, that's just not going to happen. That would be like trading Luka to the Lakers. But
ridiculous. No one
would
in their
do
right
that.
mind would do that. Impossible.
Wait a second.
Hold on.
No, but anyway, I'll just leave it at that. I don't think Mahomes is going to get traded anytime soon. Maybe once he's past his prime and if the Chiefs have just fallen off somehow.
But I will say, okay, it was the night of the Super Bowl, the night after it was over. I get on Instagram, and I see on maybe the CBS, like NFL CBS website, one like official blue check.
Yeah.
Maybe it was ESPN or something. They put out 2 early NFL rankings for next season. Eagles were 4. After coming out and winning the Super Bowl, they bumped down to 4, and the Chiefs were number 1. And I was like, did you not, like, I understand you had a bad game. Like, if the Chiefs bumped down to 10, I wouldn't agree with that. But for the Chiefs to be at number 1 after that, be 3 spots above the team they just got blown out by in the Super Bowl, I thought that was a wild, wild take. Maybe they made that take before the game, and they just figured they'd throw it out there.
Yeah.
I just thought that was insane. I was just like, how can you watch that game and then say, oh yeah, the Chiefs are significantly better than the Eagles will be?
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know how it'll turn out.
Of course.
But.
And of course that's what I said before this season. It's like I don't think before the past 2 seasons, seeing how they play in the regular season compared to the playoffs, it's just not a very sustainable way because they can beat anyone, but they can also lose to anyone. They should have lost to the Panthers earlier this season. I mean, should have as in, like, it was just really close, and I was rooting for the Panthers. But also just the fact that they're losing a lot of key free agents. They're losing Nick Bolton, Marquise Brown, McCole Hardman hasn't been as key a spot recently, but DeAndre Hopkins, Kareem Hunt, Derek Nottie, Charles Omenihu, like all of P. Ryan, Justin Reed.
Their entire running team and receiving core.
Yeah, and some key defenders too.
And defenders.
They're just some really important guys not going to be on the Chiefs. Of course, you have Mahomes.
Of course.
You have Kelsey, maybe Kelsey could retire.
Yeah. He said he doesn't want to. He said he wants to be there a couple more years, but I think the Chiefs are putting a deadline on that decision.
Yeah, we're seeing the wear and tear. But you have Chris Jones on the defensive side. But, yeah, you're losing a lot of key guys, and the Chiefs know how to make a good team. And so, I would be surprised if they didn't make the playoffs. I would be surprised if they don't win 1 or 2 playoff games.
Absolutely.
But based on the state of the rest of the AFC, if the Bengals get a defense, if the Ravens perform the same way, if the Bills perform the same way, please. I would love a Josh Allen Super Bowl.
Yes.
Please. If we had gotten Bills Commanders, I'm still
hurts me. That hurts me that we didn't get a Bills Commanders Super Bowl.
But hey,
I don't even like to think about it.
Both those teams should be up there for the next few.
Oh yeah.
But Xavier Worthy. So that's one that they still have in their receiving core.
Absolutely.
And he had a great game. 8 catches on 8 targets, 157 yards, 2 touchdowns. Sure, it was all in garbage time. But we saw
2 Super Bowl touchdowns as a rookie.
Yeah. Hey, there you go.
That's something.
He started and ended his season with 2 touchdowns. I just now realized that.
Really?
So, had the end around in the first game and then had another one, and then here we go in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah, they need O-line help. They need defensive help after free agency, and another running back probably, and a lot of other receivers. Although Mahomes can probably be a good quarterback with us, a receiver.
About to say, probably get some touchdowns thrown to a brick wall.
Yeah.
Also known as Kadarius Toney. Just kidding.
I mean, he did. I was funny. I was watching the highlight of last Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl where Kadarius Toney almost returns that one for a touchdown, that punt.
Yeah.
It's funny that the key player that he was right there.
Exactly. I'm just saying, they won a Super Bowl. Kadarius Toney is no longer on the team. then they lose the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. I just recognize patterns.
That is a very evident pattern.
Just throwing that out there.
Another fun fact about the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl 59 was the first Super Bowl that a touchdown was scored by a player from the University of Alabama.
Really?
Yep. No Alabama drafted player has ever scored a Super Bowl touchdown before Devontae Smith caught that one.
That's crazy.
One of my friends I was watching with is an Alabama fan. For no good reason, he literally, as a kid, got an SEC chart and put his finger down and landed in Alabama. He's from Arkansas. So, like, bro, I make fun of him for it. But, yeah, I mean, he was happy with this. Devontae Smith. Of course. And Devontae Smith deserves it. Jalen Hurts, Alabama grad, but not drafted from there after transferring.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it's just crazy. We've had 59 Super Bowls, and it was only the most recent one that a player from one of the best universities of college football scoring a touchdown.
That is a really fascinating stat.
Yeah, would not have expected that. I guess they just all go to bad teams because
they're the top picks. Yeah, they're
exactly.
the top picks.
I mean, you have like Amari Cooper, guys like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all over. That's most of what I have for the Super Bowl. Any other thoughts for you?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it was I don't know. I just loved watching Saquon and just his. Still his sportsmanship and the I don't know, not humility, but the selflessness on the field, and just the excitement there. Nick Sirianni getting the Gatorade cooler dunked on him. It was just it was cool, but I'm hoping that this next Super Bowl will be a good game. Mm-hmm. It's you wait the whole season, and though there's a lot of really cool things that happen in this Super Bowl, you want that last NFL football game to just be a fight, be a battle. Mm-hmm. And we've seen that a lot, and we've also seen a lot of Super Bowls where that's not the case. Yeah. But I can definitely appreciate the Super Bowl for a lot of things. Yeah. So this season was a great NFL season, just all around. We saw it was just a really exciting season, even up to the end. So, can appreciate it for that.
College football had an amazing season.
And college football, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously, NFL. We had guys like Jaden Daniels. We had, just a lot of fun storylines to follow. Mm-hmm. But one storyline that we talked about last time was as people like to say, the Kansas City refs. Like, bruh. Yeah. It just shows that you don't watch the football games. Look at what happened in the Super Bowl. People are like, oh, they're just not making it obvious. Yeah, well, if you talk like that, you're never going to actually find anything. No. So, just wanted to say.
It's a completely fair game.
People are ruining the sport that we love by blaming it on the refs, who are human. You go out there and make the calls, man. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I get mad at that.
No, that's fair. Completely reasonable.
And then the city of Philadelphia destroying their own city, and it's like all of the city of Philadelphia coming out to the parade. Like, I at first I was like, that would be a fun place to be. Then I'm like, no, I would die.
No,
I could not.
That would be the worst place to be.
If they figured out I was a Cowboys fan, I would get thrown out of the city.
No, you would have to stay very far away.
Very, very far away.
Yeah, I saw this meme, and it was like supposed to be the city of Philadelphia in flames, and it was like Philadelphia if they lose. There's the same picture. It's like Philadelphia if they win. It's like either way. Yeah, either way.
Exactly.
It's like an office. Like, tell us the difference between this picture and this picture.
They're the same picture. Yep.
Either way, no matter what happens, the city's going up in flames.
Exactly. Yep. Philadelphia just doesn't know the difference.
No. But did you see I was just thinking about this with the parade, and I just mentioned Saquon a couple minutes ago. But one of the ball boys was in the crowd, and Saquon picked him up over the barrier and but invited him to be in the parade with them. Like, how cool is that? That just makes me love Saquon Barkley even more. Just the continuous integrity and selflessness and just team player that he is. I thought that was so cool. Yeah, I really appreciated that.
100%. That was amazing. Mm-hmm. We just seen Yeah, that, and then bringing one of the victims from the New Orleans terrorist attack, like who's an Eagles fan, on the bus with them.
Yeah.
And then there's fans throwing beer cans at their head coach and GM and stuff. So.
Just cause.
Just
cause.
So, yeah, that city is wild, especially whenever the sports teams are, well, just when anything about their sports teams. When they're good, it's that kind of chaos. When they're bad, they throw, like, snowballs and boo Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So.
Either way, something's happening.
Yeah.
Something's getting thrown at somebody.
Definitely. Cool. Well, you want to talk a little bit about the head coaching hires?
Yeah.
We got 7 new ones this offseason. Obviously, Kellen Moore being the newest because he was with the Super Bowl winning team. But I have a little ranking here that I made pretty quickly. Didn't do a ton of research on it. More on kind of first thoughts. But we can go through the ranking and then talk about and kind of analyze each one as we go. What do you think?
Perfect.
Great.
Sounds good to me.
Let's do it.
I have some of these written down. I only have 4 though.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got. So. You can look at my notes. I need to share this document with you. So anyway, I should have shared this document with you a long time ago. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Number 1, I think Ben Johnson. At first, I had him at number 2 just because, like, I'm not sure about Caleb Williams. But, like, if anyone can bring out Caleb Williams' potential, it's this guy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we saw what he did with Jared Goff. And I was thinking, like, Jared Goff's kind of a veteran. But, with the Rams, Jared Goff was, he made it to a Super Bowl. But, he wasn't a star that he is now.
No, absolutely not.
And, yeah, helping with Caleb Williams' decision-making. And just I think he can bring good culture to that team. Because the Bears just as Justin Fields is about to leave, they had some culture around him. Yeah. But now it's like, I don't know what this Bears culture is. They don't really seem to have one.
They need to give him time to develop. It's a developing team, a developing culture. So if they go out there and give him one season, half a season, and then say, oh, this isn't working, give him the boot. They need to give him time to develop the team and let the team grow. It's going to take more than maybe it won't. Most likely it's going to take more than a season. So they have to be patient with that.
Yeah.
Because the Bears, the Panthers are kind of historic, especially in recent times, for not really letting players and coaches develop. So I think they need to give Ben Johnson time. I don't think it's going to take much time, but they need to be able to be patient with that.
Yeah.
And not expect Super Bowl first season like they did, like some fans did with Caleb Williams. You just got to give it time to develop.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if the Lions had fired Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
A lot of people wanted it. So now they're glad they didn't.
Oh, sure are.
Number 2, we got the other Lions defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, to the Jets. This is another one that's like, the Jets are not a good team right now. I mean, a couple years ago, their defense was really good. And I think that Aaron Glenn can help them return there. But also, I think this is a good culture thing.
Sorry.
You're good. It happens. Anyone who's working directly under Dan Campbell is going to learn something about culture.
Absolutely.
And so this guy bringing culture to a team like the New York Jets. Just kidding. Just
New Jersey
kidding.
Jets.
It's where they are. Just call them what they are.
Yep.
Don't
Let's be honest here.
You don't get to claim New York. But anyway, he can bring culture to this team that really needs it. Aaron Rodgers trying to do it with saying it's Jet Life Field, but come on.
Let's be real here.
You gotta actually put up some numbers on the field if you're gonna talk trash like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that Aaron Glenn can help bring the Jets to their potential once they get the core players around them.
Oh, absolutely. No.
Number 3, yeah, as Baden said, Kellen.
You're
good. Hey, but yeah, this is. There's a few that are really close around here. Both the Lions defensive coordinators. We've seen what they can do.
Yeah.
And so I think these got to be 1 and 2. But you look at Kellen Moore and you look at the Saints. The Saints need an offense that can consistently put up points. Mm-hmm. And Kellen Moore knows how to do this. We've seen him on the Cowboys on a team that wasn't all that great, but their offense was consistently putting up points.
Oh, a lot of points. In a lot of cases, a lot of points.
Mm-hmm. And didn't really do it on the Chargers, but I mean we've seen what the Chargers were without a head coach those few seasons, without a star head coach.
Yeah.
And then on the Eagles, we've seen what he can do.
Absolutely.
And so if the Saints can find the players, if Derek Carr can return to form, or if maybe they think Spencer Rattler is the next guy. Maybe they draft a guy. Mm-hmm. Maybe they draft Jackson Dart in the second or third round.
Hey.
Who knows? But if they find their players, if Chris Olave stays healthy, if Rashid Shaheed is healthy, if Alvin Kamara plays to his potential, Kellen Moore can make the Saints a good team. Probably not what they were week 1 and 2 of last season, because who knows what happened there.
There's no telling.
What?
Absolutely no telling what happened.
But I like this hire a lot. Because it's good for him. It's about time for him to get a head coaching spot.
Absolutely.
Number 4 and 5 I think are really close. But Mike Vrabel. We saw with the Titans making it to an AFC championship. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he'll take the Patriots there quite yet. But he's not maybe not as good of a coach as some of the others on here. But I think that he is a perfect fit for the Patriots. His personality, his energy, the culture that he's going to bring, hopefully back to the form that they were whenever he played there.
Yeah.
So he knows exactly what the Kraft family wants from this team.
Exactly. I was not surprised to see that Mike Vrabel was going to be gone from the Titans. I thought it was time for a change for him and the Titans, but I think the Patriots. I think that was a good move. Mm-hmm. I think that we're going to see some. I think a lot of these teams, like the Patriots, who were really good and then have had some. They're in a rebuilding season. I think a pick like Mike Vrabel is. I think that's a good move, and I'm excited to see what he can do because. Even on the Titans, being the Texans' rivals, I didn't love the Titans, but I always enjoyed watching him coach. I always enjoyed watching him on the sidelines, and so I think this will be interesting to see how it plays out. I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely. Drake May gives him something great to work with.
Absolutely.
Already. Number 5, I have Pete Carroll. And this is just based on his experience and his energy. Mm-hmm. I think the Raiders may be the worst team on this list. I think the Raiders are the worst team on this list.
Yeah.
The Jets are not a good team. The Saints aren't a good team. The Bears aren't a good team. Obviously all these teams need a new head coach, and so.
Not a good team.
Yeah, not a good team, but especially the Raiders. And you look at their division. Obviously the Chiefs, the Chargers up and coming, Broncos up and coming. You talked about the NFC East, but the AFC West is insane.
Absolutely.
And so the Raiders needed someone. They need to really compete to even have a chance at the playoffs because they're playing all of those 3 teams.
To have a chance at a winning season.
Yeah. Seriously. The AFC is a whole.
If any team needs a change, it's the Raiders.
Yeah.
They've been average or bad for a while.
Yeah. Derek Carr has had a couple good seasons. Josh Jacobs had that one really good season, and that's about it. Mm-hmm. They have Gardner Minshew, so maybe Gardner Minshew Super Bowl.
I believe.
If anyone can do it, it's Will Levis. Just kidding. But yeah, I like this hire. Of course, it's number 5 out of 7, just based on the fact that he's 90 years old. Just kidding, not quite that old. And the Raiders. I don't know if he's going to want to be an NFL coach long enough for the Raiders to be good.
Mm-hmm. To develop that team because, we talked about a couple of these other head coaches. They're coming into a team where they don't have many weapons, but there's potential to build the team around them. The Raiders don't look like a team that has potential to build a team that Pete Carroll can use. I love Pete Carroll. I think he will be in infamy for one of the worst one of the worst football calls of all time. But he's a great coach. But yeah, it depends on how. I think a lot of these coaching decisions, bank on how long these coaches are going to stick around with this team, how much time and effort they're going to put into these teams, and it just doesn't seem like Pete Carroll's going to be coaching the Raiders for a long enough time to get them where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
But for a rebuild, a lot of the times when you're rebuilding or trying to rebuild, you want some veteran guys, and there's no better veteran coach than in this situation than Pete Carroll. So
yeah.
maybe we'll see a little surprise out of them. Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
Hey,
who knows? Number 6 out of 7, Liam Cohen with the Jaguars. This goes mostly in the fact that he's not super well proven. Obviously, he had some great seasons in Tampa. Last season was overall a good offense. But I'm not so sure. As I said, not super well proven. Hasn't had a ton of time to make a name for himself. Guys like Kellen Moore have been a coordinator for long enough, but I'm just not sure with Liam Cohen. He is from the McVay coaching tree, though. Yeah. So there's all of those
that
guys.
Speaks well.
Yes, very well. And Tampa had a good offense, but it's also they had really good weapons. Mm-hmm. And he's going to the Jaguars, where they do have great weapons. I mean, they have Brian Thomas and some other older guys. And maybe he can take ETN back to his college form. Maybe he can take Trevor Lawrence back to his college form. But I'm just not sure if he's the guy you want to build a team around. Yeah. Especially with kind of the drama that it took to bring him to Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm not going to do it. Oh, I will do it. But
there's just a lot of unproven. There's not much confidence on the Jaguars and their players, I think. And so then you bring in a coach where there's not much confidence of is he going to, what is he going to bring? And then when he doesn't have much confidence in even coming to coach, there's just a lot of there's not much confidence being shared going around. And so you never know. But I think you're probably right putting that at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
But, hey, Jaguars, they needed something different.
Yeah.
What they were doing wasn't working, and so you switch something up and you just see what happens.
Yeah. Number 7, I do have a little more optimism about this than the media does. So maybe I should have put this at 6. But just because I think it deserves to be at number 7. Jerry Jones's hire of Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
You talk about unproven. You talk about a team that has good weapons but just hasn't performed. Mm-hmm. And then you take a coach who hasn't made a name for himself at all and try to build the team around him. It's this was just I would rather have Mike McCarthy for another season than Brian. Well, actually, maybe not, because maybe Schottenheimer either will actually be a good hire and make Jerry Jones look good, which makes Jerry Jones happy and makes the Cowboys look good, or he'll be what people expect and the Cowboys get a top draft pick next season and hire a proven coach or an up-and-coming coordinator. Yeah. So, of course, you can look at it the Cowboys actually had a decent offense this season if you look at not having a great running game until Rico Dowdle really steps it up, Dak Prescott being hurt, and Cooper Rush playing really well. So, maybe, there's been some good things here, but I don't really see this working out. I don't see him being here for more than 5 years. So
if that.
Yeah. 3 might be, any more than 3 might be pushing it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
It seemed like a very, last-ditch effort.
Yeah.
Just kind of out of the blue, just pulling at strings.
Yeah.
Pulling at threads, pulling at threads.
Whatever.
I don't really know what they say. I don't even know what I'm saying.
Hey.
It just didn't seem... It doesn't seem like a move where you're thinking, okay, we're getting back in the game with this one. We're going all in. It didn't seem like an all-in move.
Yeah.
It seemed like okay, we got to change something up, so there's this guy, we'll throw him in here. It seems very questionable.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Of course,
it's the NFL.
You never know.
But you kind of know.
Yeah, you can make assumptions.
You can have some educated guesses.
Yeah. In the last just couple minutes, because I promised it to y'all. Baden, you want to touch on just 3 little headlines?
Yeah, one headline for me that I find very respectable, especially with we're seeing bigger and bigger contracts. People making money. You see players get big contracts and then they kind of fall off and they don't play well. And, it turns into, it's just for the money. I really respected seeing Joe Burrow because, they have T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd also.
Tyler Boyd isn't there anymore.
Okay, no. T. Higgins and then, of course, Jamar Chase. Just a lot of different T. Higgins is a free agent.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, a lot of controversy with the contract, and will he be able to come back? And Joe Burrow saying, I would be willing to reconstruct my contract, to move money around so that we can keep these guys. Obviously, there's some that these are excellent receivers. You want them to be on your team so that you can perform well, but also just there's some selflessness on that. Selflessness in that. And so I really respected that. I liked seeing that headline because obviously the Bengals, they're a team that can go to the Super Bowl, but they have to change some things around. Yeah. And losing Jamar Chase or T. Higgins would not be a step in the right direction. Yeah. And so I was really happy to see that. Just Joe Burrow, taking that hit to be like, I'm okay losing some of my money, not that it would really hurt him at all, so that we can keep these players on this team. Like, we need these guys.
Yeah.
And so I'll take the hit. I appreciated seeing that. That was one thing that I've seen that in the past week, 2 weeks, that I really respected. What's a headline for you, Hank?
Yeah. Well, I want to touch on that. It's like, it takes a lot of confidence from Joe Burrow. Like, a lot of guys are like, I want to be one of the highest paid players to prove to myself in the world that I am one of the best players in the NFL.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, he knows, he knows who he is. Like, not in a way that he's like, hey, guess what, guys, I'm the best. He just realizes, I am one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, and I don't need money to prove that to me. I would rather win games than make a few million, even $20 million more dollars. He's still making what, 35, 40 million a year, taking that pay cut. One of the headlines I wanted to touch on was that Travis Hunter is doing the combine as a defensive back. And my guess is that obviously people are looking at him as a wide receiver. He wins the best wide receiver in college football award. He wins just his highlights are on the receiving side, most of them. And so I think going as a defensive back is him trying to solidify himself as a two-way player. Because receivers make more money, which, of course, Coach Prime would probably be like, no, you want to have a good career instead of making the money. But, I think he's trying to solidify himself as a two-way player, not, guess what, guys, I actually want to be just a defensive back. Who knows? He does have just the athleticism of a defensive back, but he also does have a wide receiver. So that's one that I just wanted to share my take on, that I don't think we need to look at Travis Hunter as a core defensive back now. He still wants to be a two-way guy, and this is his way of saying that.
It's him proving, really showing off his skills on that side of the ball.
Yeah. Another Colorado one I want to touch on is that Shedeur Sanders apparently always uses the Browns when he's playing Madden. So if you're a Cleveland fan,
maybe you're really excited by that.
Someday this guy will be more famous than his buddy LeBron ever was.
Those who know.
If you know, you know. I got one more that I want to touch on. Any others from you, Baden?
This is a good thing. This is encouraging. But Aiden Hutchinson, after his horrific injury,
awful,
posted a video of him running. He definitely looked a little awkward. But it is. I would have imagined that the recovery would be a lot longer. And so to see him on his feet running, that's big. So that should be an encouragement to Lions fans, but just football fans in general.
Yeah.
Because you see an injury like that, that's absolutely, it's just gruesome, horrific. And to see him on his feet running, that's super encouraging. So really happy for him. That's a happy headline.
100%.
Very happy headline.
Yeah. I guess we didn't even do our top 10, bottom 10. I didn't even think about that. This is our little version of it.
Yes, we're throwing out all the extra little headlines. And
that's
tidbits.
more of a regular season thing to kind of cover it all.
Exactly.
But the last thing I want to touch on is all the rumors and reports around Micah Parsons being traded. The most recent thing we've seen is he said that the Cowboys have an extension in place. But this just goes to show the dysfunction around Dallas. I say Dallas because Dallas traded Luka also. But this is a player who's a perennial, for the few years he's been in the league, a perennial Defensive Player of the Year contender. Wins runaway Defensive Rookie of the Year, and is up there with TJ Watt and Myles Garrett in a lot of conversations. Maybe not quite there stat-wise and performance-wise and athleticism-wise, but this is not a guy you want to trade away unless you have a massive trade package in place for him. And so this, again, as I said, just goes to show the dysfunction in Dallas. That Dallas wants to trade one of their core players after paying Dak Prescott, who has not proven himself nearly as much, $60 million a year. Reminds me of the Giants paying Daniel Jones instead of Saquon. The Cowboys are more and more becoming a Cleveland Browns type team.
Just making poor decisions from management, and you just wonder how much longer that'll be able to sustain itself, because it doesn't really look like it's being. The Cowboys are not being sustained well. There's a lot of promise and a lot of talent with individual players, individual aspects, but just all coming together. It's not looking good.
No.
And I think, there's so many things that go into it. You don't want to pick out one moment or one person, but it really does look like Jerry Jones is. He might not be doing what's best for the team, somewhat consistently, and so you just wonder what'll end up happening with that.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you there. Well, that's it for me. Anything else?
No. I think that just about covers everything I have for football. I mean, I think we talked about this at the last bit, but I'll say it's been confirmed that Noah Lyles and Tyreek Hill are going to race sometime this spring. So I don't know what or how that'll go down, but that'll be interesting either way. It's kind of funny. And other sports, don't boo America's national anthem.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't.
Canada, America came. We played your sport at your home. You booed us, and we won 3-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was just like.
And now we're playing in the hockey championship, and you're not. So just
patriotism.
Let's respect the flag. Okay.
That was amazing.
That was awesome.
Throwing hands.
Was awesome.
3 seconds in.
Literally, and it just. I love hockey.
Oh.
I love watching hockey. I would die. I can't ice skate.
I can't fight or ice skate.
Yeah, so it'd be rough to play, but it's so fun to watch. And it was fun seeing some Americans throw down on some Canadians.
Yeah.
Good. So yeah, but in other news, covering some other sports, but yeah, I think football wise, it's getting into the bit of a quiet stage.
Yeah.
But things will start to pick up, you know. A lot of free agency will open up, and then we'll have the draft, and we got some big things coming.
Yeah.
But I think it's been a good season. It's been a good season, and hopefully y'all have been sticking with it, sticking with us through the whole season. Hopefully you've learned something. You've had some fun listening.
Hope so.
And that'll only continue. We've had fun.
Oh yeah, we've had a lot of fun. Hope y'all have had fun too, because we love doing it. And yeah, we'll bring you some free agency stuff, and then my favorite, some draft stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll be back into the season. Well, after the summer.
And some UFL.
UFL.
We'll throw that in there. We'll hear some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So football's not gone.
No.
Football's not gone.
No.
No. We'll still be around. We're sticking around.
Even if football leaves, we will still be.
We don't leave.
We don't ever.
You better
leave.
bet the Nice Catch podcast will be here. We'll be talking about something. We'll find something to talk about.
Exactly. Cool. Well, thanks for listening to the Nice Catch podcast. If you love football, continue to tune in each episode from the offseason all the way through the playoffs. This is the Nice Catch podcast.